between real numbers, and we will finish off our notes, and then you will have some time to practice, okay? So here we go. Remember that ascending order is least to greatest. Descending order is greatest to least. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers that I have to order. So first thing, what am I going to put down?
Greatest to least.
All right, I'm going to put greatest to least. G to L. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my numbers on the side. I've got 2, -3/7. I see 0.75. I see -3/2. And then what's the next thing before I start I'm going to do? Weekend's long, isn't it?
Oh, you put your
There you go. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make my decimal points. And anything that's negative, I'm going to make those negative signs nice and dark so I don't forget about them. Okay? All right. So, 2. How do we write 2? Does everybody know that? Do you remember a trick I taught you could do in your calculator? Hit mode if you're not sure and put your decimal point on 2 instead of float. Right now it's on float. If it's on 2, then you will get 2 places out after the decimal. It will automatically show you that. Do you remember how to do that? You go down to there, then you go over, then you hit enter. Then how do I get out of this screen? Second and quit. So if you struggle with knowing that, my suggestion is you do that. So if I put the number 2 in and hit enter, what do I get? 2, 0, 0, don't I? Okay. 1 down. What do I do with 3/7 to change it to a decimal? Divide the numerator 3, divided by the denominator 7, and I hit enter. I get 0.43, and this way my numbers are lined up. This one, do I need to do anything with it? 0.75? Nope. I'm just going to put 0.75. Next thing, -3/2. Take my numerator 3, divide it by my denominator 2, and I get 1.50. I'm going to fill in my 0. And now I have to decide I need greatest to least. So the easiest way to do that is to cover up everything but your whole numbers. What's the greatest? 2. I would agree. Okay, I'm going to cross it off. I've used it. What's the next greatest? What?
0.75.
0 is positive, right?
Yeah.
It is going to be bigger than this 0 or this 1 because they are negative. So I'm going to put a 2 here and cross it off. This is the one place some people get kind of confused about. All right? And I'm going to give you a little trick. If you drew a quick like this and put 0 here, and I was to draw this sign, can anybody tell me what that sign is? What does it say?
Greater.
Less than. Do you see it's closed over here? Less than. That means that anything more left will be less. Do you see that? So if I have 0.4, if I put 0.4, that's going to be like right here because here's -1, right? So here's -0.4. Here is -1.5. Which one has a greater value?
0.43.
This one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see how easy it is to see that? This is just a little trick you can do for yourself to help you because people get confused. They think the number looks bigger, so it's got to have more value. But actually, in negative land, The larger the number, the less the value. So this is 3 and this is 4, and I can come over here on my answer and I can write 2, 0.75, negative 3/7, and negative 3/2. Okay? All right. Which list shows the number in ascending order? So what is ascending order? Least to greatest. So I've got L to G. All right. I want you to work smart, not hard. You need to think before you answer something, before you start working. Okay? Use the brains that God gave you. All right? I got these numbers here. And if you notice, least, negative 0.5, negative 2, negative 0.5, positive. Can it be this one?
No.
And all of them have the same numbers in them, don't they? So they're not different numbers. So I know I can cross off D right off the bat. Okay? All right. So I've got negative 0.5 twice, and I have negative 2. Well, if I use my little chart, and I go, negative 1, negative 2, less than 0.5 is going to be like right here, right? Is that correct? Okay. Here's negative 2. Which one's less than? Negative 2. I don't even have to do any work, do I? If I use my handy dandy little tool, if I wasn't sure, I could use and know that that's there. That's called working smart, not hard. If it had been this one, then I would have gone to these two and looked at these two, okay, and made a choice. And if these two were the same, these two were the same, I would have gone to the first time it was different and only done that number. Some of you will automatically start writing all the numbers down, converting them all, ordering them all. Why work that hard? Does that make any sense? This is working smart, okay? Flip your page over. All right. Let's cross off 10 because we don't need that, and I don't know why it was left there. Graph each real number on the number line. Okay, if I have a 0 and a 1, what's in between it? Yeah, because it's about halfway, right? So I'm going to do this first. Carson's doesn't have a back. Everybody else's has a back, right? Okay. Carson. That's because you weren't here, so I guess we just didn't love you enough. Okay. All right. So first thing I'm gonna do, because I've got to place all this, is I'm gonna number my lines here. What's this one right here? Negative 0.5. Then I got negative 1.5, negative 2, negative 2.5. So let's see how many of these numbers, are any of them whole numbers? I'm going to go through and do the ones I can do. Can I do this one pretty easy? Negative 1.75? Okay, so I've got negative 1.5. So negative 1.75 would be about right here. Okay, that one's done. I've got a negative 2, so I know that one's going to be down here at negative 2. So I've got one here at negative 2. Okay, that one's done. Now the rest I'm going to have to work at kind of converting a little bit. How do we change a percent to a decimal? Does anybody remember? Okay, so I'm going to take 100 and I'm going to divide it by what? 100. And what do I get? I get 1. Okay, it's not 1%. It's a decimal now. 100 is the whole number 1. 100%, you have the whole one pizza. If you have 100% of something. So my 100% would go right here. Okay, got that one. Negative 3/4. How am I going to change that? Negative 3 divided by 4. Okay, so it's negative 0.75, which would be about right here. Negative 0.75. Oh, I'm going to put what they have up there. 3/4. Got that one done. All right, 25%. What am I going to do to change it to a decimal?
25 divided by 100.
Okay, 25 divided by 100. It's going to give me 0.25. Is that over here?
What?
Yeah.
No.
What is 0.25?
It's right after the 1. Right after the 0.
After the 0. Good. Okay, so this is 25%. Okay. Square root of 4. You guys aren't using your calculators. You're just waiting for me to do all the work. What's the square root of 4? Second, square root 4. Enter. I get 2. So here is square root of 4. Alright. 9 divided by 4 is 2.75. Ooh, that's out here, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to make a little mark out here, and I'm going to put 9 divided by 4. Okay. Oh, it's 2.25. Ooh, I thought I heard 7.5. 9 divided by 4. So it's really between 2 and 2.5. Square root of 3. 1.73. After 1.5, but less than 2, right? So square root of 3 is 1.73. All right, I've put them up there. Next question, which number in the graph sets on the number line are rational or irrational?
The only one that's irrational is the 2.
The only one that's irrational is the 2, he says. Do you all agree? I thought we just talked about 2 we can change into a fraction.
But I was thinking square root of 2.
But there's no square root of 2 up there. Okay? So, this is already a decimal, right? And it ends. This is a fraction. This one can be a fraction. Can 1 be a fraction?
Yes.
Okay. So, can 25% be a fraction?
Yes.
Okay. Negative 2 be a fraction? Square root of 4, can it be a fraction? Not everybody's. Okay. Can you change the square root of 4 into a fraction?
Yes.
How do you do that?
2 over 1.
Alright. 9/4 is already a fraction. So, can we change the square root of 3 into a fraction? We need to find out. How do you know that? Who else didn't? Everybody's sitting around. Nobody's using their calculators. Let's just get the answers from everybody else. And then how are you going to do this when you need to? Square root of 3. Hit enter. Then try and change it to a fraction. Math enter. Does it change into a fraction? Okay? No. It won't change into a fraction. So that means it is what kind of number? Irrational. So you only had one that was irrational. The rest were rational numbers. Alright? Alright. I'm going to stop this.